daughter's team because they needed a coach. I mean, come on, that happens over and over and over. And so now you have people that give their free time, but they haven't been taught how to coach. So if you got an A in algebra class, does that mean you can teach algebra? You can tutor, right? You can work with someone one-on-one, but to teach a class, to manage a group of people is completely different. So you have now well-intended coaches that step into this environment without boundaries and react any way that we want. I love talking about all of us collectively. And it falls apart. And now the scholarship business. So, my gosh, rhetorical question, but how much money did you spend this week to get here to Colorado? And where are you getting your advice on how many camps to go to? Are you obsessive and you don't have the disposable income, but you don't want your daughter to not have an advantage, so you send her everywhere because as soon as a coach goes, hey, I like her, come to my camp, and you can't tell the difference between legitimate interest, looking at a jacket off the rack and saying, hey, I want to buy this jacket. Those are two different things. And so where are you getting your advice? That's what I'm here for. And if you're not looking at the website, firecrackersoftball.com, if you're not listening to the podcast, if you have an iPhone, a Firecracker Softball podcast, the podcasts are about 45 minutes each. How many 45-minute drives do we have in softball? Unless you're from Texas, it's like 6 hours and 45 minutes. And it's crazy the distance they drive, but they do it. They cover that state to play ball. So, there's a lot of things that we need to provide. So a lot of well-intended coaches step up, and now because of the business demands of softball, they're not transparent. They're not transparent. So I don't know where my money went. Tony, he's a shyster. He's taking our money. Well, okay, let me interview him. Let me see what's going on. But no, he's not transparent. He's not a businessman. Well, fire him. Okay, great. Now your team doesn't have a coach. Let me see. Who wants to step forward and coach? You just shot the last guy that wasn't capable, and now your kids don't have a coach. Oh, wait. There's a dad who goes, I'll do it. I run an insurance business. And I'm very transparent. And there's that gentleman out there, very successful with his business. His etiquette's good. And you're getting bunted on, stolen bases on, first and third, because he doesn't know the game. He doesn't know the game. So pick your poison. There's no perfect balance. The perfect balance is to surround yourself with people that do what you don't do. I'm going to be honest with you. I could not run my team by myself if my life depended on it. I don't think I could get my kids. No, I know I could not even fit my kids with uniforms. I certainly would screw up all their equipment. I'm not a good money manager. I'm the worst. I'm the least qualified in the business sense to run a team. Well, that makes you feel real good about this organization. But I'm going to be honest with you. But I've surrounded myself over there are not three ladies that are working the apparel area. And then Robin Ferris, if she's got to be around here, so she's our coordinator around here. But let me tell you, all of you that applaud for Robin, the four women that run this company are the backbone of this company. So over there, the pregnant one on the far, on our left over here is Reagan, 6 months pregnant, working her rear end and her front end off over here. She's nonstop. She runs our store. She's our store manager. Okay? Moms, look at our website. Go to our YouTube link at the bottom of the website. And you're going to see Reagan's cute little face down there. Click it. And she talks about how she looks at your order, your online order. And you tell me if that works for you when someone that once they get your order, that she looks at it that way. Now, if you're one of those people that went, yeah, but I didn't know, well, that's customer service. That's what happens. So Reagan does an amazing job of running the store day to day. And I'll be honest with you, this is her first child. I didn't think she was going to be able to work past 3 months, and she hates when I talk about this. And this last week, before we came over here, I'm going to be honest, they don't let me in the store. Every time that I walk in the store, they watch me like a hawk. So I'm not welcome in there for all the right reasons. And then I'm watching her last week, and she was working so hard, making sure that we had so much of this and so much of that. I just stay away from her. But it is amazing to know that you're that efficient in that department. Okay? Next to her in the red is Melinda Manahan. She is the administrator for Firecrackers Incorporated. She is the backbone, the administrative backbone. Nothing happens without Melinda. Raise your hand. There she is over there. Nothing happens in this organization that doesn't go past her first. She's the gatekeeper. We turned down over 100 teams last year. Believe it or not. We've never asked any of you to join us. That was not our plan. We decided to say yes to the right people. So Melinda's like the customs agent that smells you on the phone. What is your intention? I mean, you can talk to Bill Hoops over here and a couple of our coaches of what it's like when we get an inquiry from a region, and then we go through that current sheriff of the town, the person that came forward in that region that said, hey, I want to bring the F. I want to have these people around me. With all the right intentions of doing that. And even in certain history has proven that that regional manager is not always the right person for us. And in the end, that relationship might not work out between the Firecrackers and that person, but we dissolve it like a partnership, because with every person we meet more people that are servicing these young ladies that, my goodness, and I'm going to get to you ladies in a second here. Okay, so Melinda smells all those conversations coming in, and she often will tell somebody, I know what you're looking for, but I think you need to go do your homework on what we are, because we don't tell people what we are. I don't knock on your door to tell you everything I can do with you. In fact, I got to send you an email 17 times for you to understand that Axon Diamond Kinetics app that we have right now is a game changer. And the TAP test, a mental assessment test, is a game changer. And if you're not getting on that, no, let's not fire your coach. We just have to keep working on our communication, because that's one of the things that we continue to have to work on, marketing and communication. But I am here to provide things for you that are of value, because there was no way I could stand up here if I didn't feel good about what we stood for and what we're doing on a continuing basis. Okay? Where's Juliana? So right here in front, she's filming me like usual, but this is Juliana. So I met her when I coached the USA junior national team in South Africa. And here is a Colombian young woman that I just didn't think was going to be able to even coordinate our team for 3 weeks. Really? She's 23 years old, and you're going to give the Americans everything they want in Cape Town, South Africa? I laughed. I said, there's no way. There's no way. And we flew into South Africa. It was past midnight. We were flying for 24 hours. And Juliana gets on the bus, and I look at our head coach, Karen Johns, and I go, is this the assistant for her, like the coordinator? And she goes, no, we requested her. She was our coordinator in Bogota, Colombia. And I went, this is going to be funny. Let's see the first time that she rolls her eyes. So Juliana comes on the bus and says, do you guys want something to eat? It's 12:30, and the city is, there's no lights on in the city. There's nothing going on. And she goes, you want something to eat? And the head coach turns around to the bus and says, hey, you guys hungry? Yeah, what do you want? Pizza! I looked at her, and then I just looked at Jules. For anything a little great. Players will tell you, I'm looking at the way you blink your eyebrows, the way you breathe, every little thing. And she goes like this. She looks at the bus and she goes, one moment. Gets off the bus, comes down, talks to our police escorts. I'm looking for the eye roll. I'm looking for it. Stupid Americans. Boom, boom, boom. Something. Give me something. She walks back up. Follow us. 6 years later, okay, she is our design manager. She creates all of the designs for all of the Firecracker apparel. So everything that you ladies and guys are wearing, every design, everything is a creation of Juliana. And I have not found anything that she can't do yet. I'm looking for it. I'm trying to break her. But she's been amazing. And she wears multiple hats. And she's also my partner in the Play with Honor company. And the Play with Honor company was designed so that we're in such a thankless culture nowadays that it's just about saying thank you. Be thankful for things and give you an opportunity to say, when I'm wearing this, I'm saying thank you. We just are completing and are about to launch our PWH Wall of Honor. And it's a $5 membership, because the $5, out of that, I think 10% of our proceeds are going back. We're going to give back to homeless veterans, third world sports programs, different things. We're going to give back to people. But there are too many people not being thanked. I said this in the coaches meeting right now. I said, there's a lot of good people out here that will never be thanked because you don't win enough. And you don't have the money to buy good players. So no one's ever going to thank you. So Play with Honor, be thankful. Look at the website, and there's different increments, but a $5 buy-in allows you to upload a picture of your grandma, your grandpa when he was in the service, maybe your mom. And then what I picture, players, is that you go to your phone and you go, Grandma, I know you didn't ask for this, but I want to show you something. Look, you're on the Wall of Honor. And imagine the Vietnam Wall that we all know exists, and people walk up there and find the name. Whoa, and find the name. That would have been good if I fell over. And they go and they find the name, but the Play with Honor wall isn't about remembering people that are gone only. It could be your neighbor that both parents work, and this neighbor made sure that you got home okay after lunch. Don't forget people. That's what Play with Honor is about, and that's Juliana's my partner in that. Okay, and then we got Robin Ferris back there, the coordinator extraordinaire that does everything. So there's 4 women that are doing the most vital parts of the responsibilities of this company to keep this a business structured company. The guys that I coach with, we coach the team, but the business relies on the women. And I have to mention Sue Wester back here. Sue Wester works for the Glove. And Sue Wester makes sure that every single Firecracker team gets their stuff because she cares about us. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm telling you that you want to talk about an unglorified position, why does she do it? She does it because she cares about us. She's had 3 daughters go through this program. The 3rd one's about to head to Notre Dame. So 3 kids playing at Notre Dame. So how many parents can say that? All 3 kids are going on scholarship to Notre Dame. But honestly, when I think about Sue, she just not only helps us with everything that we do with our apparel and make sure that the glove orders are there on time and everything else, but she's got, I think, half our team staying with her, if not half the summer, most of the summer. And those aren't tax write-offs, people. So that's what we're about, okay? So what I would turn back to you is the success of this company, the success of this organization doesn't come from Tony's concepts of everything that I've done and then you've got to pump life with my concepts into your culture. No. What we've asked your coaches, pull from your cultures, pull from your families. Geographically, where do you come from? I love being in the South and asking, am I wrong? Am I way off? Did your ancestors fight in the Civil War in these woods here? And does it stop there? Can we go back to the Revolutionary War? And I get head nods. I'm like, that is fascinating to me because on the West Coast, we're lost after our 2nd generation. We know our parents got here and our grandparents, but that's it. So I got to know a lot of people across the country, and this has been, I'll be honest with you, these rings and this stuff, okay, competitively great. Seeing all these young ladies shaking their hands, reminding me that I mentioned before, listen, I'm not good with names, so keep telling me. Don't ask me what your name is and test me like that. That's horrible. It puts me on the spot. Remember me? What's my name? Oh my gosh. Don't do that. But getting to know the people of the organization, and then I asked you, okay, so all of you that didn't know me that might be in here for the first time, what do you hear? What do you see? What do you smell with me? Am I money-grubbing scum? Is this all about the money for me? Then why do we have 11 employees? I've got more employees in our company than some of the people with 20 times the money that we have that they're funding themselves. Because we have integrity. And I'm going to create more jobs. I don't apologize for that. I'd love to offer your daughters a part or a full-time position when they're done with college. And professionally give them an opportunity to be employed and offer professional services. I mean, if they want to come back and teach batting, fine. But we're going to need human resource department. We're going to need, let's say a psychology department, but not psychiatry yet. We don't need to dispense the meds. Actually, we probably should, so let me keep that one in too. But think of all the career possibilities. And if this feels good in this room, and it doesn't feel good enough on your team, stop blaming people. I used to think this was so corny, but when a coach went like this, he goes, you know what you're doing when you point your finger at somebody? You're pointing free at yourself. So before you talk bad about other people and what they're not doing, what have you done to make something better? We can talk about the problem, but let's collectively work on the solution to the problem, because in softball, it's the wild, wild west. But didn't the West come out of the wild, wild west? It's a pretty awesome thing. So this is the first generation. We're about 6 years into this. This is the first generation of Firecracker. Realizing what our culture is, and our culture is based on happiness and making people feel good. And knowing that this is where the success comes from, but this is the first generation. Disneyland would not be what it is if he didn't tag it the happiest place on earth, I guarantee you. I'm 52 years old, and we have the happiest place on earth, but I don't have a damn Disneyland. We've got to build it. But we have to build small ones in all of your places, in all of your regions. The Disneyland is where you are, because the happiest place on earth is a feeling. And it's an idea that you create in a culture, and a culture, not a cult. I'm not a weird leader trying to walk you guys to Little Bighorn and get y'all killed. It's a culture, an environment of people that gather together under a certain set of principles, a certain philosophy, a certain idea of how to treat each other, and we enjoy our time together. Culture is a really big part of businesses. So in my business education, your culture is your business identifier. It's what identifies your business. So we could be great on paper. But is that all the firecrackers stand for?
Yeah, they're all fitted.
Disneyland only stands for sales? I know adults that buy the year passes and they just go to watch the parade. They go about an hour a day, and that's it. They feel better. All right? So join me, okay? Because the most important part of this equation are these players. Okay? These players are too stressed out. They're too worried. They do not own their experience. Watch this. Some of you have done this with me before. All right, players, raise your hand if you've been playing this game 4 years. 4 years or more. Okay, keep your hands up if you've been playing this game 6 years or more. Look at the hands. Hey, parents, that's a master's degree. Okay, raise your hands. Keep your hands up if you've been playing 8 years. We got 20 doctors in here. Relax. Put your hands down. Okay, 10 years and you're a doctor with residency. How's that? Okay. So on top of that, that's the biggest grade that you have. So are our players acting like experts? Is your daughter 17 years old and then she goes 1 from 12 and she doubles up her batting lesson and she goes and takes an extra batting lesson? I gotta get fixed. You want to hire somebody like that at your job? We have mastered identifying our problems. But we've totally missed empowering the experience of these girls. If these girls all play guitar or piano for 6, 8, 10 years, are they playing Mary Had a Little Lamb? They're up here making us just cry right now because they play so well. Players, are you playing softball with that level of certainty, that level of confidence? Or are you the doctor that every time a veterinarian, that every time you can't save the puppy, you're a bad doctor? I'm not a good hitter. I need to go see. And how come I don't have a scholarship? And when you're in that dugout, and even though your mom or dad should not be walking to that dugout, I don't care what age you are, unless you need an EpiPen or some kind of medication or something to keep you alive, the players, when you turn around in the dugout like this, I don't like the way they're calling pitches. I don't like this team. Please give me a scholarship. Everybody in here that works for a living understands the importance of professional value. If your daughter's getting the long car ride home, and dad, like me, is an ex-ball player that we are still as great as we ever were, and we don't understand what just happened, and this was completely unacceptable, and there we have the long car ride home, you're killing her. You're absolutely killing her. You're absolutely killing her. And it becomes about you. Now, don't get defensive. But it is. It's about you and your Tourette syndrome. Tourette syndrome about the... I had a guy today, and John, if you're in here, raise your hand, but I don't think he's in here right now. Okay, guys have been part of the program. One of our Texas Firecrackers have been in the program 6 years. And sit behind me, and we're having to talk about the growth, and the good people stayed, and we got, some of the ones that are not so good, okay, it's not, we parted ways. And then 5 minutes into this, hey, I need a ground ball right here. He was in the stands. It's a dad. He was in the stands, and he yelled a command onto the field. I looked at him and go, are you not on medication anymore? Like, where did that come? He looked at me, he goes, oh man, Tony, I haven't seen you in a while. Like, I forgot about that. What is that? That was for you yelling that command. Like, she couldn't go without at bat. Dad, what do I need to do? And moms, especially if you're a former player, it's really hard for you, but you're in charge of their dignity. I've traveled a lot of the country this year to get this message across. You're in charge of the dignity. Your role, I'm just telling you advice, you don't have to follow this, but your role as a mom is not this. Keep your hands up. Stay away from the fence. Sit with dignity. The hardest thing to do is sit like this with your arms folded or your legs crossed, chin up, while your daughter strikes out. Or she's not playing. Instead of this posture. This is more the dads. Where they put the arm over the chair and they're like, yeah, I could give a crap about what's going on out here. You're smelling this a mile away. How come grandparents, and I'm supposed to say grandparents 70 and older, okay, because some of us are grandparents at 35 now or something, I don't know what grandparents that are 70 and older, how come they always just sit like this? Has anybody ever seen Derek Jeter's parents on TV? Derek Jeter, when he's on TV, when he was playing ball. And there he is. And they take the camera and they swing it over to the Jeter's parents. Did you ever see them say a word? Did you ever see either of them throw their hands up? And you're this one at your daughter's game? You got dads like this at the College World Series. You want to be that dad at the College World Series? You think everybody back home is going, yeah. Derek Jeter's parents sit like this. That's it. Dignity. I talk for a living. Anybody ever seen our TV games? Yep. What's my behavior? Nobody's ever seen it? We lost 2 national championships on the last play of the game. I had the same posture that we had when we won our national championship last season. I don't say anything. Those TV games aren't about me. I have declined coaching my team to a fault. I learned from somebody and says, well, that's great, Tony, noble. You sit in the back of the dugout with your guys and you let everything play out because you're so proud of your kids. But let me ask you this. If you weren't on national TV, would you have coached the same way? And I went, damn. No, I actually would have moved the second baseman over and that might have been a different outcome. But I'm okay with that because I wasn't out there for the outcome. But damn, you're right. I should have coached the team. And I didn't do it. It's not about the result. I don't care about that. I should have coached the team. So dads, if I can learn how to sit there and accept whatever happens before it happens, join me. It's a much more pleasurable place to be with your kids. And your daughters are going to thank you. Right, ladies? And it doesn't do, if your daughter's nodding her head right now, don't give her a talk now. I saw you nod your head. Now everybody knows that you're talking about me. And I bet you there were 5 girls that didn't nod their head right now because they know Dad's sitting behind them. Shame on you. You should go up to her afterwards and go, you could have nodded your head. Because I want my granddaughters to play softball. Okay, some of you guys have heard this story. Right? You don't want to be at Thanksgiving dinner with your daughter right now who's playing softball, and she's now 34 years old, and she's got her 7 or 8-year-old, and you're sitting around at Thanksgiving dinner and watching the football games and looking at your beautiful family and feeling pretty good about yourself, and then your daughter drops a bomb on you and says, hey, Dad, want to know why your granddaughter doesn't play softball? Ooh, yeah, you hear the dads right there? That hurt, huh? You want that to happen? Keep letting her know how you feel about her batting all the way home. Why would she want her daughter to be subjected to that? Okay, the analogy that you have to hear. Your daughter's 34 years old, same age, and got a beautiful young family. And she says, Dad, we just bought a house, and I got my 9th PhD degree, and everyone's all proud of me, and I got my house. I want to invite everybody over to Thanksgiving dinner. I want to cook dinner. And you're like, uh-oh. So you've got 16 people over her house, and you taste the appetizer. And then dinner's served, and the turkey is drier than it is just bad. Okay, to every single husband in this room, you know what you do next. You eat more turkey than anybody else, and the last thing you do is tell her that she screwed up dinner. Because if your daughter feels like she screwed up dinner for 16 people, she's going to be sitting on the edge of the bed at some point that night, and she's going to be crying because she disappointed everybody. So all of you guys in there, my comrades in here, that never say that to your wife. In fact, you tell her or your daughter how great dinner was because you understand the politics of it. It registers the same way when you talk to them about their swing. It registers the same way when you talk, but it doesn't register that way to you because we don't question our skills as guys. We're still as great as we ever were. We could strike out 3 times in a day, but we're not questioning our swing. We're just pissed off that that guy struck us out. We got to get him again tomorrow. And we might go be 12 beers later, thinking about it later on, girls, not when we're in 12. But that's our mentality, right? And we don't. So we've got to play good to feel good. If you haven't heard this, young women have to feel good to play good. Their state of mind comes first. Tell her she's beautiful. I know it's corny. But see, if we didn't have these, this wasn't our first one, if we didn't have championships, if we hadn't come in here in Colorado and done what we've done for the last 15 years or whatever it's been, then this is all just kumbaya stuff. I love you. I'll kick your ass on the field. That's a real tough combination to work with. When you kick everybody's butt on the field, well, not really. Actually, our one loss record in the fall, I think, was like I don't know, I think we're 15 and 40 because we lose a lot of games to allow players to learn what they thought they knew, but obviously they don't. So we actually lose a lot of games. But the arrogance and conceit come from that side where, oh yeah, we're good. We're good. Isn't this nice and attractive? It's arrogance, and it's conceit, and it stinks. And I'm sick of it in our softball world. I'm sick of the top of the food chain always walking around like they're better than everybody else. This ring doesn't make me any better than you or her or her. In fact, what you need to know is that you're in here with us. This ring is empty without all of us. This ring now, more than any other ring or championship we've ever had, means more now because we have so many people attached to it. I mean, my gosh, when the Dodgers win the World Series this year, aren't our Dodger fans, aren't we all going to feel like we're part of it? Oh shit, I'm not in LA right now. Thank you. Or the Yankees, or the Astros, or the Rockies, or the Angels? Are there any Angel fans in here? Are there any Angel fans in here? Anybody still on them? Okay, we got 2. Oh, wait, 3. I like it when you stick by your teams. Unless they leave, like the Rams, you don't have to stick by them. That's when then they're out. Okay? Girls, last thing I want to say to you is that please own your experience. Okay? That F on you stands for something. And stands for something because of 20-something years of players before you. They earned the reputation, the credibility. College coaches want people with the F. They want you to know the behavior. They want you to understand the mindset. The name means more now than ever before, not just because of our history, but because of what you're doing right now. Young ladies, the most beautiful thing in the whole world and the most attractive thing in the whole world is what? Say it louder. Happiness. Not a 400 batting average, Dad. Not a beautiful swing that's on plane with a great launch angle. I'll be honest, that's pretty nice to watch, but it's not as attractive as being happy. All right? So this week, express yourselves. React to what happens after the pitch. Don't just say, here we go, here we go, here we go. So who in here has experienced nice pitch before? The drill that we do with nice pitch, we make pitchers feel great. So a pitcher throws a pitch and close to the strike zone, but the umpire doesn't call a strike. Well, I don't want to walk up to the field and he'll hear, come on, Blue. I want to hear the third baseman go, nice pitch. That's the greatest pitch I've seen so far. Let's see what the next one's like. Okay. Be loud over there on a ball in the air. Okay, be loud, because I'm going after everything. She butted your way last time. All of this directed posture looks good on the field. Outfielders, how do you need to walk? Like what? Somebody didn't text you back. Say, Dad, you don't like this one. Okay? Well, you're going to hate how I start this. So your daughters give your phone number to a boy at school? No. Yeah? All right. So girls, you put the stick of gum in your mouth. How long is it good? All right, that's your first text. Okay. Justin, where are you? You text me back. How long does it take before the gum starts to get a little old? 5 minutes? That's your second text. All right, how long before you take the gum and just... There's your 3rd through 10th text. And then what happens when the gum is on the shoe? There's the one that keeps going, where are you? Where are you? That is not attractive. So dads, what I've told your daughters that will never give their phone number out is they wait outside the door for that quarter. Because look, you got beautiful athletic daughters here. Okay? What I need them to do is tell the difference between the good-looking guy that will raise their kids right and the good-looking guy that's going to abuse them for the rest of their life. Because, see, they're both on the football team, and they both look really good at 19 years old. But I need them to know the difference. So they're going to wait outside that classroom in high school for Justin. And there he is, Justin. Hey, I gave you my number and sent you a text yesterday because I wanted to know if you wanted to go out to lunch with a couple of my friends. Oh, no. Well, I was with my brother. Stop. That's called yada yada. I'm not here for yada yada, Justin. Take your phone out and delete my number. Oh, wait. Oh, And what does Justin do? Okay, believe it or not, I used to have hair. Believe it or not, I was the quarterback. Believe it or not, I was the shortstop, and I was the drummer in 8th grade. Man, you want to talk about cool. And the reason I was cool is because I saw a guy do it before me. I said, Teach, I got to do what he's doing because every girl in this auditorium is screaming for that drummer dude, and I got to be a drummer. So by 8th grade, 9th grade, I had it all going, right? But let me just tell you, so everyone wants you to do this and wants you to do that. The one young lady that doesn't give you the time of the day and just says, yeah, you might be this, but who cares? The one lady that walks up and says, delete my number because I got more self-respect for myself than that, becomes very desirable, even if it's just, would you please just be my friend? Okay, wait a minute. So back to the outfield. All right, so outfield, and that's the way you walk in the outfield this week. Okay, pitchers, throw a pitch. Boom! Don't do this. You guys are paying $40 a pop that every time something doesn't work, you gotta hold it tight and pull it tighter. We've never won any big games because a kid came back and said, I pulled that curveball tighter on that. Did you see that? Not one in 26 years. Pitchers, throw a pitch, boom. Even if you just hit the backstop, stand there and own it. And then walk back to the circle and think, if he calls that pitch again, I'm not going to scare a bird, I'm going to scare a goat. And then you go like this. Boom! You're next. Not, and then right to the rubber, and then that leg's going around. And then, boom, home run, and then where's your parents? I don't like the way he calls pitches. So throw it, and then own it to the back. Pitcher, go to the back of the circle. Stop laughing, people. Go to the back of the circle and breathe. You're going to see some kids on our team that think that they breathe. Some of them do, and some of them don't. And they walk out. And on our team, if you scare a bird 3 times in a row, you can go bird, gopher, East Coast, West Coast, as long as you're making adjustments, that's fine. Okay? Hitters. All right. We don't want this posture. Okay? Walk up to the plate. And then the fingers are going like this. And then God forbid they don't pitch in 2 seconds, you're like, time! Lefties are notorious, right? They do and then they're going to drop a little bunt. Go slow. Walk up to the plate.
You know this is happening because we saw Domingo Ayala earlier, so I'm just like, I was watching that guy work, I'm like, I can do this. All right. So we walk up to the plate, all stressed out, and you're not a hunter. You're a little rabbit. You're a little rabbit. Walking up there, trying not to, disappoint dad? Try not to make a mistake. Try not to screw it all up. So hitters, last one I'll give you, and then we're going to break out of here. As you go slowly to the plate, back foot goes in first. When this front foot goes in, your eyes are on that food. That's her. You don't go like this, and you're getting quick pitch. As soon as your both feet are in the box, it's go time. So now it's you against her. You're looking for a good pitch. You get in the box. Whatever you're doing, your routine. When you go up to your stance, go slowly. Yeah. Then you go to that first move. We call this the F position, don't we? You ever heard of that? You've never heard of the F position. Come on, some of you I saw in your regions. All right, so we get up to the plate, we go up slow, and then we bring it back like this. I'll do it this way, Tori. Bring it up, and then slow. It's like I just caught back the hammer of a gun, and I am ready to go. If I move back fast, you can chase speeds on me all day long. I move back slow. We get back to this F position, and the reason we call this is if we get right here, and we're sitting good with good rhythm, we get a good pitch, that pitcher is F. We're going to take a hat or something, and we're going to do some damage. Firecracker, what do you guys think? So we walk up there, and we go slowly here. Now watch. If we foul the ball off, boom. You're lucky I missed that.
And we keep our eyes on the pitcher. And then we look at this guy over here. Yeah, I know. Keep my shoulder in, drop my And then we step back in. But don't do this. Don't be a back thumper either. Okay, we got Aaliyah Flores, and she's here. She's the loudest back thumper. I don't even know how she has any vertebrae back on her. She back so hard, and it ain't right. Your body was not designed to be a hard thing. And well, you have to protect your spinal cord. What happens when your spinal cord goes? That's it. Okay, so you step out of the box and you keep your eye on that pitcher. And then you step back in, and I'm telling you, all of this behavior, the walking in the outfield, the pitcher owning it, the batter's moving slow, the fielder saying nice pitch. And here's what college coaches do. They're watching this field over here, and they hear nice pitch. And they're like, what was nice? Nothing. All right. Nice pitch. What's going on? I'm here to watch this kid. It's all right. Nice. What's that batter? And all of a sudden, the behavior starts to create intrigue because nobody's moving slow out there, girls. Nobody's moving slow. Everybody's moving too dang fast out there. Slow your game down. What do basketball players do right before the biggest free throw to win the game with 2 seconds left? Do they go, they go. And by the way, what are the fans doing behind the backstop, behind the backboard? Oh, yeah. I have a business partner that said he played a college game once that when he shot his first free throw, the whole student body went like this. And I said, what did your shot do? He said, it missed the basket and the backboard. He goes, they were really good, Tony. I said, what happened after that? He goes, I freaking made 12 in a row. So they have to come up and they have to nail that sequence. And it's the same thing for you, whether you're pitching, whether you're hitting, defensive posture, or anything else. Go be beautiful with your expression. Okay, we had a college combine out there, and some select teams doing some stuff today, and there were some existing camps that everybody tries to get in. I'm going to tell you, the Firecracker camp, and we did it for selected this year for certain reasons to give some inexperienced coaches a chance to see some experienced coaches. We do a lot of networking and stuff, but the energy from all of the Firecracker teams was better than anything that I saw, and that's not being biased. I'm proud of what I saw today. Okay, if you get a chance to talk to someone like Carson Oaks over here, or did I see Brooke Vestal up here? So if you guys can hear Brooke talk a little bit, but talk to some of these young ladies, and they're really unique, and they're very special, and then they're at the top of the game. They're in the 1 percentile, okay? Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming out. And you see me around the ball fields or any of our coaches come up and say hi or take a picture or do something like that. Because thank you for being firecrackers. No matter where you're at, I want you to be where it's best for you. So good luck with everything. And like I said, I'm a power strip, so plug in. Look at the website, listen to the podcast, and ask your coaches for the information we're sending out because I want to add value to all of your games. All right? All right, thanks, guys. Get out of here.
If they won't let you in the apparel store, I'll buy you a hat, man.
Oh, well, there's a reason why I don't wear F's on myself. I just went to the coaches meeting. When I went to receive my award, there were 3 red sniper dots on me. So I really, for some reason, there's a lot of people who don't think too fondly of me in the softball world. So I don't F myself because somebody's going to kill me. But thank you, I appreciate it.